Thank you. Hello, hello.
It's muted back
Hello.
there, but I'm gonna.
It's okay. I'm wearing glasses because light is. You can see it.
The light is very.
No, no, I have a very big problem with light.
You're just recovering from your infection, so. All right, mic's working. We're good. That light is extremely blinding. Is there any way to make it a little less, if at all? That'll be awesome. All right. Good morning.
So we and I don't say cut. So it goes on till actors are like, listen, the scene is long over. I don't know what else to do. So we get lots of things which are natural, like thousands of memes that have been made on Wasipur. I think beyond that line, Hindustan mein jab tak cinema rahega, none of it was written. It was all improvised.
Thank you. The next question is from Sarika. Sarika in the house? Yes. We'll transition.
I am Sarika Mishra, and oh, I'm sorry. हेलो सर, गुड मॉर्निंग. माय नेम इज़ सारिका मिश्रा. मेरे में एक्टिंग का और फिल्म के सारे कीड़े जितने हैं उतने हैं मेरे पास अंदर. And I'm a mom of two, but an inspiring actor budding out right now and doing some stage and short movies here. My question to you, you just answer one of them. I just wanted to ask you, based on that question, you said you're giving your actor and your team a liberty or empower, and then are you more focused on dialogues, or you just leave your actor free to kind of come something from within?
I am more focused on the truth of the moment.
Got it.
And what happens is sometimes the camera can be distracting, sometimes the dialogues can be distracting. So I have a very simple logic, which I discovered alongside when I was a terrible actor myself. Because when you're doing stage, right?
Yes.
I'm just taking this off because that's the only I can
No, no, no.
explain.
I totally
So
get
when
it.
we do stage, the audience is so far away. They
Mhm.
see whole of us,
Yes.
right? You, if I don't mean what I'm saying, you won't be able to figure it out because my voice projection, my body language will convince you otherwise. But film acting is not about body language. Film acting is not about anything else. It's a very simple answer is where are, where am I looking at when I'm talking to you? Answer the question.
Oh, you're looking at me. Just
Where
raise the
at you?
eyes.
Not
Eyes.
just you.
Yeah, eyes.
Eyes, right?
Yes, yes,
Where does anyone look when somebody is talking? It's always the eyes.
yes.
So when you speak your line, it doesn't matter how good your delivery is.
Got it.
If the meaning of it and the truth is not in the eyes, it's false.
That's true.
It's false. Sometimes when you watch a bad performance, you won't be able to tell because of lack of experience why the performance is not convincing. But it is entirely because the eyes are lying, or eyes are lost, or eyes don't mean those things. You're just mouthing the lines. So my focus is to find the truth of the moment. And what I often do is I don't tell actors what is happening after this. I tell them the script once, and I'll ask them to forget it. So I give them the scene on the day of the performance, and I give them the time to prep for it, and we inhabit the location. So a location also does not become a location; it becomes the place we are invading with the camera to capture and be a fly on the wall. And I only watch the eyes. For example, the old school directors, like Imtiaz Ali doesn't even watch the monitor. He stands next to the camera and watches the actor's eyes. So before there were monitors, before there were digital cameras, we were taught to shoot in restrictions because one camera was 4.5 minutes. It was not unending like today's camera. So instead of cutting down the cost, the films have become more expensive, right? Because people keep rolling unnecessarily. So we focus on the eyes. We focus on the truth of the moment. And if it feels false, I believe that it is false. Because your gut will tell you something is off. Something is false. So sometimes if you tell an active eyes are conscious, they become even more conscious. So I never tell them we are conscious. I always tell them, can we do it again? Hmm? Can we mean it more? Can we do it again? And they do it again. And they don't know. Because sometimes what happens is you're trying to remember a dialogue, but your eyes show you're trying to remember a dialogue. So another thing is I write very spoken language. So it's not hard to mug it up. I just recently made a film with Bobby Deol. He was very scared of my process. He says, "You're not going to give me lines." I said, "No." He says, "How will I do? I've never done this." I said, "Just come." And he was anxious, he was nervous. In 2 hours, he stopped asking for it. And he did the entire film without knowing what's next. And if anybody would come to him today's scenes, he said, "I don't need it. We'll see it on the set." And it's a very empowering process. Once you start trusting it, and once you start trusting a filmmaker, and the filmmaker can win your trust, then I advise not to prepare so much. But there are also filmmakers who they're actors who prepare very hard. But then it affects everything, like Daniel Day-Lewis. His preparation is magical. But his preparation also means he gives 3 to 4 years to one film. So actually the credit goes to his family and his wife and his kids who live with that one person for 4 years. Everybody can't do it. You need to go back home and be a family. But he becomes that person, which is why in his entire career he's not done more than 19 films. But his wife, who's Arthur Miller's daughter, Rebecca, kudos to her that she lives with different men each time he does a film. So the thing is, that's also a process that I say is good, but that needs the kind of dedication that I have not seen in anyone. There are other method actors, but their methodology is different. Like from example, De Niro or Pacino, they draw from themselves. They become their own interpretation of that character. They do not try to become that character. So they don't try to pick a body language of that character. For example, if you see Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman, right? He became a blind Al Pacino. He did not become how the original character would walk or anything else. So he only worked on actually not seeing anything. So that's also another interpretation. So it depends entirely the process that you find more convenient, and a director or a cameraman, you can reach out to and say that just be honest with me. If anything seems false, I'll do it again. That's it.
Thank you. Is Mihir in the house? And I would request everyone to actually read out the questions that they have, and if you wanted, I have it open.
Hi sir, my name is Mihir, born and brought up in Mumbai, and really grew up watching all your movies. I wanted to ask you, ranging from Devdi to Kennedy, how do you collaborate with music directors to generate a soundtrack that complements your films and their different themes?
I find them because I always find music. It's not like that I had an idea of how to do music for Devdi. I was in New York. My films were not released, and I had a friend who was a musician, and she introduced me to a lot of underground music scene, out of which one of the person was Sunny Jan Collective. You might find a CD somewhere. Sunny Jan is an Indian origin guy. Sunny Jan Collective, he interpreted jazz as Indian brass band as jazz. So his music was close to Indian brass band, but was also considered jazz. And I heard him at Lincoln Center. And I was like, I need sound like this. And I kept trying to find here and there. At the same time, I had a friend introduced to me there's a professor called Ranjani Majumdar back in JNU. She introduced me to a friend who was the head of the history department in Princeton called Gyan Prakash. Mr. Gyan Prakash introduced me to a lot of other jazz and variations of jazz, where I discovered groups like Brooklyn Qawwali Party, which is a band of 18 Polish members who sing Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. I discovered so many other people. I discovered a lot of Pakistani origin singers who were playing in New York but would not play in Pakistan. And they were staying there. Amongst them, one of the guys became a star. He was a little kid then, I don't remember his name anymore. There's a band kind of coming up called Cold Spot, I think. I don't remember. I don't exactly remember. It's like 21 years ago. So I heard all these people, and I'm like, where is the equivalent of this music in India? Because music in India was largely taken over by T-Series. And I found a bunch of people. The Shilpa Srivastava, the singer who sang song in Gulal. She introduced me to this bunch of kids who would jam together and create this music that they were too scared to put out. At the same time, Amit Trivedi was earning his money by doing cover versions of A.R. Rahman. So what they were jamming and everything, I said, why can't I get this? I told him that I want to make a version of Devdas, but I want to do music first. And he came with some 8 or 9 songs beforehand, while Motwani was adapting Devdas, the book. That music came to me. And then I became greedy. I said, I want more, I want more, I want more. So I rewrote the script around the music. Likewise, in Gulal, I wanted a certain kind of music which I know Piyush Mishra could write. So I had to manipulate him to come and do the music. I had to give him a role because he wanted to act. So I said, you write your own role, but do the music for the film. So every film we found the music, like Kennedy music, what we wanted, we couldn't do it because I was trying to do a version, and we did record one version. I think I have it on my phone, I can play it. But HMV asked too much money for that, and we didn't have the budget. And we were trying to make jazz version of SD Burman. And those things just, this is a lot of time financial things. And then we didn't know what to do because script was written around that. Script was written, in the script if you read, it was written around all the RD songs, all the SD Burman songs. And this is the song we recorded.
वहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ तुम लेने घड़ी भर ये छैया पाएगा कहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ तुम लेने घड़ी भर ये छैया पाएगा कहाँ वहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा
Just playing it to you because we had some 5 songs and they asked us to pay 1 crore per song. We didn't have the budget because they knew that we wanted it badly. It's written in the script. So there's a lot of experiment lying on my phone. But the thing is, we don't get to do it because of this corporate greed. So then what happened was, I did not know what to do. We had started shooting. I was very lost. And there was a NCRC protest and I found Amir Aziz's poetry, Sab Yaad Rakha Jayega. Then I got Amir Aziz, and Amir Aziz was like, I've never done songs, I don't want to do a song. He had written a love song about lynching, which is the title sequence which in the film. I said, can I use the song? He says, no, I can't give it to you because they'll come after me. I said, license me the song. So I had to, then we composed it, then we got jazz musicians. We did a lot of music, spending 6 months to a year in the room. He would write poetry, I got a young boy. They jammed together. Initially it was all about teenage trauma, which I said, throw it out, throw it out. By the time they both got to politics of it. And last moment when they got to it is when we recorded these songs, and then we needed real musicians. So the cheapest was in Prague. I went to Prague Philharmonic. I got Sir Adam Clemens to compose all the things. Ashish Narula from India was coordinating, who had done Bombay Velvet. In 3 days we recorded all the music together because we could not afford more than 3 days. So slowly we found the song for Kennedy. So every film is finding the sound. Like new film also, I have some 25 songs. We have found the song. So finding the song is not because I know what I want. I know what I don't want. So long time back, it was a very casual conversation. Uh, Somebody was talking to me like I'm a child, and had a very silly question. Because, older times our grandparents used to have sewing machines, and they used to make smaller things at home, like our school shirts and pants were made at home. We didn't go to anywhere, and when I would ask, like, how do you know how to make a pant? She said very simply, she says, keep cutting out what you don't need. What ends up is a pant. And that's what I use in movies. Just keep throwing out what you don't need. What ends up is a movie.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is Janam in the house?
Hello, sir. Good morning. My name is Janam, and I'm also an aspiring filmmaker. So I've noticed that in movies like Gulal, Bombay Velvet, or Mukkabas, there is like a recurring theme of love as both like salvation and destruction. So, like, what fascinates you about this theme, and how do you kind of view such basic human emotions into like such rich political and social commentary?
See, I don't know. I can subconsciously answer only because my ex-wife keeps telling me this, who's also my editor, Aarti. And she says that I carry a lot of guilt. And she says, your guilt is always in the film. I carry guilt towards my daughter for not having been there. I know one thing I'm not in life is a good lover. I'm a terrible lover. And when I say terrible lover means like I don't know how to be there. I'm so consumed by movies. My free time I'll read books, I'll travel. I think people with me do more for me than I do for them. So all those things subconsciously kind of stay inside of you. And they come out in the film, this whole theme of punishment and redemption has always stayed with me. Also because of Dostoevsky. Because I read Crime and Punishment in Hindi, not in English first. Rajkamal Publications used to publish all the books in Hindi. And like a lot of things. Like Imtiaz Ali's favorite book is Daag Ka Darya by Kurtul and Haider. I'm saying ये सारी जब आप इन सब चीज़ों के ज़रिए गुजरते हैं और ये सारी चीज़ें पढ़ते हैं और इतना म्यूज़िक सुनते हैं, बिकॉज मैं बहुत सारा शायर सुनता था, मैं शायर को बहुत पढ़ता था, और इसमत चुगताई मैं बहुत पढ़ता था, इन लोग मंटो बहुत पढ़ता था, पूरा दस्तावेज मैंने उसके सारे पढ़ डाले थे. जब आप बहुत कम उम्र में वो सब पढ़ डालते हो, जब आप when you're very impressionable, when you're too young and too impressionable, and when you read these things which are supposed to be serious material, your mind doesn't know how to consume it. You cannot articulate it. You can't digest it. And because of which what happens, the heaviness of it stays with you for the longer time. I'm saying, I have not gone back to most of them to finally figure it out. But I like them to carry them with me because something comes out of it. I don't know what comes out of it. It comes out of the subconscious. So it is not really that I'm sitting down and knowing what I'm writing. I don't know what I'm making. And my best explanation can be when I started drinking too much at one point in my life, and when my daughter sent me to rehab. And the way the doctors explained addiction to me, I understood where my writing and movies come from. So they told me that addiction is the subconscious, is in the subconscious of the brain. It's like an iceberg. You see 10%, but the 90% you don't see of the iceberg. The 10% that you see is the conscious brain. The 90% that you don't see is the subconscious brain. And I write with my hand. So उसमें क्या होता है, when you start writing and you let your subconscious kick in, the script starts writing itself. Characters start writing themselves. In real life, if you will have a conversation with me, I won't be able to talk my characters, like my characters. It just comes out of somewhere. You have to allow it to come out. The problem is we use our 10% brain that we use to judge our 90% brain that we don't use and reject our own writing. So using the weaker part of you to judge the stronger part of you. And you don't like it, so you reject it. I always say, start writing till you finish. When you finish writing, then reread your script. Then make your changes. Then make sense of it. So I have maximum in my life taken 5 days to write a film. Maximum. Because every Black Friday I wrote non-stop for 36 hours. Candy was written in one night. So it's a stream of consciousness writing. I don't know how I'm writing a script. Once I've written it, after that I'll spend time on it. I'll sit down and analyze. I'll bounce it off other filmmakers, my peers. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Sometimes they say first draft is enough. Sometimes there are gaps to fill in that we do while shooting. I said, do I need to put it on paper or I can do it while shooting? So like Black Friday or Kennedy, there's just one line, they chase. But you see the whole car chase is written on paper, it just says they chase. But everything else is improvised based on the location we are shooting and based on the permissions we are getting, based on the cars that we have, based on we can overturn the car only once. So that means that is a scene to be shot last. Because we found 3 cars of same make and we had to make do between 3 cars. एक actor के driving में use हो रही है, 2 chase में use हो रही है. So and जो सबसे खराब वाली है, वो घूम के पलटती है. So I'm saying that's also how you budget the film. So I genuinely feel that the subconscious is what when kicks in, and I have figured that out, and I don't like to analyze it how, because I'm afraid of losing it. When you analyze something too much, you lose it, I feel. So it is just that I know that I am a letter writer. I used to write 10 to 12 page to 15 page letters for my parents. They never read it in one go. They're like, you write too much. And they were like, 4-5 बार में तुम्हारा चिट्ठी पड़ी जाती है. When in essay writing competition, I would just fill the pages. People would write 10 pages, my essay would be like 60 pages. I can write non-stop like that. And I do exactly the same thing. What happens is after 5 to 10 pages, you stop writing it. It writes itself. Because you don't know where the realism, the logic, the experience, everything that's stored in your head from what all you have seen is inside. It comes out of there. It's where your dreams come out from. It is where your fears come out from. It is where everything comes out from. And I think writing also comes out from there for me.
Is Sanju here? Sanju has sort of a related question. So.
Yeah, sure. Big fan of your on-screen and off-screen workshop. My question is, recently on-screen you did Dayanand and Salon, and also the characters you have created, like Raman and Raghav and Raghav too. These characters feel so real. They are not typical villains or heroes, and even if it's a psychopath or an addict, you feel for them at some point. How do you come up with these characters?
I don't just try to keep them human because I have in my life not seen a criminal who acts like a criminal. I've only seen them in movies. In real life, you don't know which one is a criminal, which is not. So I try to keep them human. Even when I'm acting, I never ask the director. I always tell the director, don't tell me the script. I like you, I'll do your film. Right? You guide me, I'll follow you to the T. I'll be like what I expect my actors to be. I say, I'll be truthful to what you want. I don't watch myself as an actor because I don't like to watch myself. Because I feel I'm too loud. Even if I see one sequence, I just try to turn my away because I feel as an actor, I'm a very loud actor. I will not let anyone do that in my film, what I do for others. So I will never let anyone do Dayanand like I did in Rifle Club. Or even Selvam in Maharaja, no, I can't stand it. So the thing is, as long as I get paid for it, I do it. So the thing is, it's not about that. When the characters are right, I'll just like them to be as real as possible. Their past baggage, whatever it is, they carry inside you. I'm saying what pain you might be carrying is inside of you. It doesn't show on your face. So let me as an audience know what you're carrying. But you have to be in that moment for me. So what happens is the information that the audience have, the character necessarily doesn't have. You as an audience, like why does a horror film work? Because people always walk into the wrong door. Because they don't know what's going to happen next. That's why horror films work. That's how life is. You walk into a door, what will happen, and you can't predict it. Because if you can predict it, then it's very boring. So I try not to do that. I just try to keep them real and human.
Thank you. Is Manjuri in the house? Manjuri in the house?
Manjari is my mother's name.
in general, but I have no talent which is required for this. So production is the closest thing which I think I can do. I just want to know how can I get associated with cinema in any.
See, there's, I actually, I don't think there's nobody who has no talent. You have to know what do you have. Because I say whatever you would like to do, what you want to do, jump in. Just jump in. You want to know how to swim, jump into a lake. You'll find your way to swim. So thing is, if you want something, if you really want to do something, that's the talent you have. Or probably you want, just do that. You don't, because otherwise if like, it's like, when we were being children, our parents said, tu doctor banega. You'll be an engineer. And I was like, how? Why? How can you decide when I don't even know what I want to be and who I am? You're already telling me I'll be a doctor. So when you're impressionable, you start believing you will be a doctor and you work towards that. So you do those things. I'm saying you should just do what you feel like doing and take the consequences. Let other people tell you, you don't know how to do this. Your thing should be, please tell me how to do this. Please teach me how to do this. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing. I think you want to do something, jump in.
That's
But to be a producer, what do you think? What skills should I?
Nothing to be a producer. You will learn how to be a producer when you start doing production. So I'm saying, don't look at the end goal. I went to Bombay because I wanted to make a movie. I had no idea I'll be doing so many things. I wanted to make just one movie. So I'm saying, just go ahead and do it. In the sense, I'll tell you, I did not know I will be a director. I wanted to make a movie. I was lucky to be part of Satya. Ram Gopal Verma felt that, you have good ideas. Why don't you shoot something for me? He made me second unit cameraman. He gave me stuff to shoot and I shot it and he said, it's so bad. He said, it's so shit. I said, what you told me was much better than what you have shot. Then he told me, then he taught me how to communicate to my cameraman. And that was 4.5 minute can. He gave me another can. He says, now go and shoot it again next Sunday. So only Sundays we could shoot in town. And I went and shot it and this time he liked it. And then because he liked me, what I've shot, I liked myself too. Then he asked me to do the music video of the sound of Satya. Like just a background score with Sandeep Chota. And with no money, 2 cans, 1 dark room, Sandeep Chota, and nothing else. And I shot that. And slowly, I had written a script for Shivam Nair called Last Train to Mahakali. I felt like I can do it. So I called Shivam, the script I've written for you, can you please give it back to me? I would like to direct it myself. And he said, sure. He gave it back to me. My producer said that, see, Shivam is a known director, you are an unknown director. And the budget that we were getting for star bestsellers was roughly around 4 to 5 lakhs. He says, you're a new director, I don't want to lose money, I'll give you 2. Can you do it in 2? I learned only one thing in life, always say yes. Figure out later how to do it. So I nodded, I said yes. And then what happened was like, how will we do it in 2 lakhs? So we decided that we'll hijack the train. So local train, we've got the crew actors, we got into the train, last compartment, all the way to Virar where it's get empty. We hijacked the train and we shot it on a digital camera. And I was told that there's a camera that in MTV, because I was working with people from MTV, I have a digital camera that doesn't need light to shoot. That's all I knew about digital camera. It's a camera that you don't need light to shoot. You can shoot nights without light. And we started shooting with that camera. And the actor who was in charge, the person who was in charge of that camera, I cast him in the film. I said, your job is when the office shuts on, bring the camera. So we figured out how to waste shoot. We cheated, we stole, we did everything. He would come with the camera in the night. And because we were only shooting nights, it's called Last Train to Mahakali. Because we could not shoot in the day. The camera had to be back in the office in the morning. So we started shooting at night. Nobody understood what a digital camera was. We walked into the airport with it. And we shot at the airport and came back. 4 nights we shot, we finished it, edited, finished, delivered. But I'm saying it's just because I decided I'm going to learn it. When I was making my first movie, Panch, I took a shot of an actor sitting like this, then the other shot, and the cameraman looks at me, you're crossing the line. I said, what is crossing the line? I said, there's an imaginary line. You have crossed it. I said, yeah, but what if I don't know anything about the imaginary line? You know it, keep it to yourself. I will cross it because this shot makes more sense to me. So he said, up to you. I understood in the edit what he meant by it. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Who makes these rules? I'm saying film studies came after somebody made a film, right? The theory on cinema was written after somebody made cinema. Make your own rules, do your own thing.
And then it'll be written about. Yeah, that's good. Also, what he said about first say yes and then figure out, I think that's what he did with Indie Meme. First he said yes and then...
Hello, sir. Such a pleasure to have you here. Right now, you're seeing, not only in India, around the world, there is a new wave of like independent cinema that is rising through alternate mode of financing, and this is more on the production front. Like you see filmmakers like Payal Kapadia, Natesh Hegde, who are trying to raise financing from outside of the country. So, what is your advice to independent filmmakers who are trying to pursue that international co-production route? I mean, my main question was like, how do we approach these European co-producers, either through marketing, and how do we judge them? Like, what should a filmmaker look for when they're approaching a producer? What are the qualities they should look for in a producer?
So I'm saying I'll rephrase your question like this. So in the sense, like, they're filmmakers and the people who want to be filmmakers. There's already a set criteria of things. What you're trying to do is fit into that. Don't do that. Payal Kapadia was never trying to fit into any format. If you've seen All We Imagine Is Light, if you see the previous film, The Night of Knowing Nothing, to me is a far superior film than All We Imagine Is Light. Totally independently funded. She knew what she wanted to make. And then she found the tribe of people who wanted to help her make that. So you have to first write a script, know what you want to make, and travel. What I did when I made Black Friday, it was banned and everybody told me, I don't understand, it's a documentary or it's a feature film, it's confused, I was trashed for it. Somebody called it the tourism ad for Indian poverty, and you hear a lot of things people tell you when because you're doing something new. And I was confused and I was very young and I was like, okay, maybe you're right, maybe I really don't know anything. So I started traveling to festivals. The best place to learn anything about how to pitch a film is Cinemat in Berlin Film Festival. Go to Sundance, it's close by. There's a film market. Go with your script. See, this is the script I want to make. That you'll find a lot of producers who are looking for filmmakers who are coming there with the script. You'll find someone will find you. You go like that. In the sense, I remember I was in Cannes in 2010 with the movie called Udan. And I was walking on the street and outside the Doha Film Center, one boy who was giving out pamphlets. He was giving out pamphlets to please come for Doha Film Party. He saw me and he caught hold of me, sir, please come for the party. And he looked like an Indian. I said, yeah, but I don't want to do party. I don't want to party. I don't come. Sir, can I find a time for you? I said, why do you want time from me? He said, I want to pitch you a script. I said, yeah, but you're working with Doha. I live in India. I don't have the money to make a film. So you produced Udan. I said, I produced Udan with borrowed money. I'm in debt. I have to pay my money back. So he says, can I just come and talk to you? I said, okay, when if I have time, if you see me sitting around, come and talk to me. I was sitting around and he came and I said, okay, fine. I had a glass of champagne. I said, I have time till my champagne is over because then I have to go. And he told me a beautiful story that he's not made. I loved the story. I said, okay. I said, I like the story. When do you want to make it? He said, sir, I'll come whenever you tell me. I said, if you come to India, this is my address. And I'll help you make this film. He disappeared. By the time I got a mail from him, sir, I'm coming to India, I was shooting Gangs of Wasseypur. So I was like, I'm shooting Gangs of Wasseypur and it will take me 3 to 4 months before I come back to Bombay. He said, don't worry, sir, I'll wait. And he waited in Bombay for 3-4 months. I came back from Wasseypur. I said, where's this guy? He says, where's your script? He says, sir, I was waiting for you. I was traveling. I wrote another script. I don't want to make that anymore. And he gave me the script called Lunchbox. And that boy was Ritesh Batra. And he said, now I want to make Lunchbox. And he never made the first one. So which is why I'm saying that if you have your script, if you have your idea, you'll find somebody who makes it. That's how Lunchbox was made. Then we took Lunchbox to the Berlin film market. It got more funding. and we put together the money and we made the film. And look where he is today. But I found him selling pamphlets. So it is not about, don't try and fit into what's already been designed, because you'll end up making a film that everybody already expects. Write a script, find the right person. Like another example is Everything Everywhere All at Once. How many people said no to it? How many people but they did not change the script they wanted to make till they found the right person to back it up. And then when it ended up winning all the Oscars, look at it, Sean Baker makes films, self-funded. So many filmmakers you have right here in Austin, filmmakers, Richard Linklater, they make their films on their own. They find money here and there. But you will only find money if people are convinced with the script. Write such a good script that within this room, people will be ready to part with whatever money they have in a pocket and be a producer. So just write a good script.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Roshan, is Roshan around?
Hi, Anurag. I'm an actor. I've been an actor for a while. So I actually have two questions. One is a more personal question, and the other one is a more general question. So as an actor, I've been an actor now for about 10 years, and I've been working in theater, commercials, a few features, short films, all of it. My question is regarding downtime. During downtime, should an actor focus more on working towards their skills and like working in theater, or working on like trying to make their own films or make their own content and like make things that will make you more visible?
See, I don't know. There are two kinds of advices I can give you. One is a professional, one is personal. So I don't understand by what is downtime.
Well, I mean, downtime mainly when you are not working on a project and you are just.
So you're saying downtime is when you're not making money.
Or acting, or on set, or on
Yeah,
stage.
but I'm saying why you limit acting to being on set? Why do you limit any kind of an art form? There's never a downtime for a true artist. Never. Because, you see the best of musicians. Yes, you can go through depression. You can go through mental health issues. But if you're an artist, there's never a downtime. Pick up your guitar and sing on the street. Who's stopping you? You want to act, be on a street corner. Be a jester. Just start doing something. You will see people will start collecting around you. Put a hat. They'll give you money. I know so many people across the world who's performed like that. I've literally seen, there's a singer at one point, 15, 20 years ago when I'd come to New York, who 2 years after I left New York became a known singer. Her name was Joelle. I've seen her perform at New York Subway. So there's no such thing as downtime if you are truly an actor. Professionally, it's very different. Professionally is you want acting to fund your lifestyle or your money or whatever it is. I'm saying you have to keep doing theatre, because one thing I know for sure, how actors' careers are made. Actors' careers are not made when you have got your dream role or you have been launched. An actor's career is made when the audience sitting in, watching the play or the film says, I don't know who the fuck is that, so good. So if your performance is not making anyone look up and say, who's that? Your career will not be made. So I'm saying don't prepare the audience for your performance. So what happens is, that's why I tell people don't do any PR. There should be no PR. Actors should never do PR. Because PR creates expectations. Expectations always bring the level of your performance down. Your biggest strength is surprise. Careers are made when you get surprised by an actor. You look back and see whichever actor has made an impact on you. It is not because you read about them. It is because they surprised you. They blew your mind. Every single actor. They did something so courageous and so effective that it blew your mind, is why you know them and why you then start following them and their career paths. There's not a single actor whose career has been made like that. And all the actors who get handpicked, which I call lucky unlucky actors, at a very young age. For example, you see all the Harry Potter actors, or for example, you see actors from that, what is that werewolf film, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart and all that, right? Twilight. All the handpicked actors who are lucky, who make us feel the envy, they deal with more mental health issues than anybody else because they become a commodity. And those actors, when they grow up, they either disappear into oblivion or they start taking such big experimental steps that they only want to do films with directors that they come across like actors, and they're not known as Harry Potter anymore, or they're not known as something else anymore. Look at Emma Watson, look at that guy in Harry Potter, look at Robert Pattinson, look at Kristen Stewart. You will never see them do fluffy role ever again, because their entire childhood was defined by fluff, and it exhausts them, and the expectation makes them such a mentally disturbed person. That's why Macaulay Culkin has disappeared and Kieran Culkin has come up. So which way I'm saying that you're lucky if you're not that lucky hand-picked actor who was picked up as a child and thrust into limelight. Because you know what? Childhood is only 5 to 6 years. And the rest of your life will be very depressed. That everybody only calls you Harry Potter and nothing more than that. Daniel Radcliffe keeps trying to do different things. He wants to be taken seriously. He's dying to be taken seriously. Everybody else. So which is why I call them lucky and unlucky actors. So you are in a very fortunate space that you have the whole world in front of them. Nobody's stopping you from acting. Just act. Time will come when somebody will find you and pick you up. Timothy Chalamet got picked up from a play he did in New York. Look at the actor from Adolescence. I'm saying it's his first role. He got picked up and he's being taken seriously.
Sorry, yeah, the second question is more, well, actually I wanted your opinion on the use of AI nowadays.
I hate AI.
Great.
Hi, my name is Sachin, and similar question to hers. I mean, I want to produce one film in my lifetime, one and only one film. And I think you've answered my question. What is your style from a story to a screenplay? What's your process? So I think I know how you follow it, but what would you advise to somebody who's going to professionally do it and want to select a film?
So I'm saying, what I'll tell you my process, because I other people work differently, and everybody eventually has to find their own process. And no two creative people have the same process. My process is, if I like a story, I will first tell it to my partner. I'll see what her response is. Then what happens is, I built on the story more. She'll ask me 10 questions. Why do you want to make this film? But this has a problem, that has a problem. So then I start rewriting the story in my head. So I keep finding friends and people, and I keep telling them the same story again and again and again. So it's like how you ferment a beer, or you make a wine at home. You let it ferment. So before I actually sit down and write it, I never write down the story. I just let that idea ferment in my head till I feel one day comes where I feel like I can sit down and start writing it. And then rest of the story will tell itself to me. But till then, I don't do anything. I'm saying if you like an idea, then you keep sharing it with your trusted group of friends and people. And you'll realize that that's everything. Next time you will tell a story, you'll add 1 or 2 things more to it. And that 1 or 2 things come from the doubts shown by your previous telling of the story. So the more people will show doubts in your story, the more you will add to your story. And slowly one day you will come to a place where you feel like, okay, now I have a foolproof story, I need to write a script. I say keep developing till then. That's how what I do.
Hi Anurag, I'm Nandini. I have a double master's in psychology, and I also run my own dance school here, focusing mainly on Mukhabinaya. So these are the areas I'm going to tap into to ask my question to you today, and that would be, you often create morally ambiguous characters like Ram and Raghav or Faisal Khan. Is your intent ever redemption or is it purely realism? As a writer, do you ever surprise yourself or have you been startled at the emotional or psychological intensity that emerges from these dark characters?
For me, the cinema that has affected me, the 3-4 kind of films that are made. The first kind that's made the most in this world is that is seeking an audience's validation. They see the film and they'll say, what a great film. It has all the closed endings, it closes all the loops, it starts with a question, gives you all the answers, and you go back home feeling good about yourself. But you don't think of it anymore. There's another kind of a film which is just so bad that from the beginning you're like, oh, I don't know why the hell did they even greenlit it or made it. Then there are films that evoke something in you. They remind you of something or they evoke something in you. And then there are provocative films. So for me, I've always tried to make a film that is either evocative or provocative. And I like open-ended films. I don't like closed-ended films. I don't know what I've recently made a very delicate subject matter. And the only audience that I've shown the film to so far is all women, including my daughter, everyone, and very strong feminist voices, because I made the most provocative film of my life. And when I say provocative, it is because I said it's so important that we don't. Because growing up in a country which is so patriarchal that our mothers are also patriarchal, They always protect our fathers from questions that we have. So they're as patriarchal as our fathers are. In a world like that, 90 to 100% people who have gone and seen a movie like Animal hated it, right? But I also saw that in India, feminism and male behavior was never discussed as much as after Animal than any other film. No feminist film, because it ticks all the boxes, ever creates a discussion like that, ever. So I decided I'm going to pick up a subject and I'll make a provocative film. I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sit there defending my choices. I'm saying this is what it is, and I'm going to leave it open to the people to discuss who's right, who's wrong, because it's an open-ended film, ends with a question, and the questions for the audience to figure it out for themselves, because I really want people to discuss, debate. I'm sitting there, I'm going to take all the hate that will come my way, but I'm not going to do anything deliberate in the film. It's like taking a film set in a male prison. I said in a male under trial prison. What is under trial prison? Under trial prison is a prison of people where everybody thinks either they're innocent or they're justified, because they have not yet been convicted. Because if they start to believe the contrary, that either they're justified, either they're not justified or they've committed the crime, then they would rather be convicted, right? So the only order, in order to prevent themselves, they either will be justifying their act to themselves, or they will say, I'm innocent. So I made an entire film set in an under trial prison, where they're rape accused, they're murder accused, accused of larceny, everything else. They have their own group of people. And how do they talk about women when there's no women around? Worse than they talk about an object. And I decided not to censor it. And it makes people angry. And I sat down with them and I heard all of them. I said, does it make you want to do something or say something? He says, exactly. And if I close it down, if I sanitize everyone in the film, then what? And there was no answer. Then it becomes like, yeah, then there's no point of the film. Then why do you even touch a subject like that? So sometimes you have to go out on a limb and risk it. So which is why I'm saying that it is not about moral ambiguity. I feel there's no such person who's black or white. And if there was a person who's very black and white, who was exactly the way I think he is, why would I be interested in having a conversation with them? Then I need a person like that only to validate me. So I feel people are morally ambiguous. I think people become different. A subject that I abandoned a long time back, I was trying to make a film. 15 years back, nobody gave us money to do that film. They're like, what kind of crap do you guys want to make? And because that film is not getting made, I can talk about it. There was a time when Gurgaon, if you know, was turning into Gurugram. Like, Delhi was expanding and all the farmers were selling their land for very high money, and they saw money for the first time in their life. First time they saw money in their life because the government was taking their land to build malls and buildings. What did they do with the money they got the first time? Bought the biggest car they could. Then they started making houses. Then they went and bought clothes. They wanted to show off. They wanted to drive the car around the Delhi city. They never invested money in education or building a future. They did what they were hungry for the most. And that was the time, if you remember, in Delhi, there are most cases of women walking the street being picked up in a van and being carried away, and they did anything, and somebody was throwing off someone somewhere else, and somebody ramming some guy, and they had no control. And there's this amazing writer called Rhea who wrote a very beautiful script about how from a house which has gotten a lot of money, and the brother has no restrictions. He goes out to party with his friends. Sister has restrictions. See, she has to go out with friends. Friends have to come to take her. And she goes out dressed, fully covered. They go to a shopping mall and they change their clothes, and they wear their short skirts and they wear dresses, and they want to go partying. While the boys are totally partying, right? And a case that happens with a bunch of two boys in two cars and bunch of these girls walking on the streets. The two cars pick up these random girls and put them in the car. It's a night of hell for both of them. One car, the brother is in one car, the sister's in the other car. They both come back home from there. The entire family protects the brother, and the entire family blames the sister. In the same house. And that goes on and on about who's right and who's wrong. And it doesn't give a clear answer. It's not like that they come to realize it. But it takes it to the point where it makes you feel so messed up about yourself and the world we are living in. Nobody wanted to touch that film. Nobody wanted to make that film. You would rather make heroes out of everyone. So I'm just talking about that's how the world we are living in. And everything comes because of something. I'm saying, do I entirely blame the guy? Do I entirely blame the woman? Do I blame the parents? Do I blame the situation? Do I blame the politics of it? Do I blame the clear boundary between the poor and the rich? Do I blame people having new money versus people having old money? Do I blame the greedy system that really thinks only money can be used in the name of development? They only develop buildings and cities and malls. No gardens, no education systems, no nothing. I'm saying in a situation like this, who do you put the finger on? And if I have to make a film like this, how do I make it? I definitely cannot make a film by lecturing and taking a moral stand saying that I know how the world must be run and you don't. I have to only hold a mirror to them and see this is who you are. This is who we all are. And leave us with ourselves. And that's the most effective way, I think, of making films. That's what filmmakers should do.
Thank you. Is Jay here? Jay has a question on editing. I know you have a bunch of them. Let's go with the editing since we haven't covered.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm from Mumbai too. I've been involved in production in short films and plays, but these days I enjoy anything and everything around theater and movies. And you have talked about it a little bit before about how your movies are, or your first cuts are 4 hours, 5 hours, or really long. But eventually when you release it, since I don't think you have done any director's cuts, but since when you release it, they they are cut down to whatever time maybe the producers want, or makes it more release friendly. So how do you approach it, the process? How do you cut it down from the first cut to what we get to see eventually?
So I think most of the films are actually director's cut. In the sense, many times I cut down the films because I want to cut down the films. Sometimes it doesn't happen, like say No Smoking or Bombay Velvet. It is because of the studio pressure, because of the money involved. So what happens is, lesser the cost of the film, more freedom you have. The film with a big star has bigger costs. That's why I work with mostly newcomers or lesser actors, because I don't want to give away my final cut. But some films have very strange circumstances. Like Black Friday was a 4.5 hour film, and 1 hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes of the film disappeared. In a sense, because initially it was made as a 6-part series for Aaj Tak. Then Aaj Tak backed out. Then we were trying to put together things. Just mysteriously we lost 1 hour, 40 minutes of the film. And we couldn't find it. So what you see is what remains. And you have to still somehow find a story in this. Sometimes the films, like I made a recent film which is on Netflix called Almost Pyar with DJ Mohammed. I set out to make a film. The political world changed, the climate changed. Producers abandoned me midway. Suddenly I had no money and 2 newcomers, and the careers depended on it. I had to make sense of the film. So we started shooting whatever we could. I called Vicky Kaushal to help me become a sutradhar to put the 2 stories together. Because at the end of the day, something has to come out. Because it's not only about you, it's also about people's careers involved. It's about so many things involved. Somebody has done so much work, it has to be out there. So they become a compromised cut. But other than that, I think mostly it is my cut. Like say for example in Choked, that's again because of the political climate changed. So all the footage that we used in the edit from news channels got so scared they took it back. We had to fight for it for 1 whole year and we couldn't get it. So it changes the fabric of the film. So now most of it, what is happening is because of the political climate. Like 5, 6 films that have been stopped in the last 3 days are either dealing with the caste system, or there's a film that actually talks about what happened in Tarn Taran in Punjab 95. They don't want these films to come out. They clearly say there's no caste system in India. So I'm like, it's literally, it's a spoken word. There's no caste system in India. And then imagine a biopic on Jyotiba Phule, who's the man who stood against the caste system, fighting against the caste system. What will he fight against if there's no caste system? That's a true story. Everyone knows the story. What is the point of stopping that film? What is the point of saying there's no caste system? What is he fighting against then? So there are some very unreasonable things that are happening right now. But you can't judge a film. And by the end of the day, whatever I put out is my film. Whatever I could not do with the film is either my failing or my choices. So there's no way I can say that, okay, Bombay Velvet मेरी नहीं है, ट्रॉमा मेरा है. बट ऐसा मैं नहीं कह सकता फिल्म मेरी नहीं है. जो भी था वो मेरा ही बचे हुए में से अप्रूव्ड वर्जन था. So you can't do that, and I don't think you should think about it. You should just think about doing your thing and fight tooth and nail to save it as much as possible.
Thank you. So I just want to tell everybody we're at 12:15, so we have about 15 minutes more of 15, 20 minutes more of taking questions. I have about 8, 9 still to go. We may not be able to get through all. Also, a lot of your questions are very similar and have already been answered. He's been very generous with, a lot of his answers. So I'm going to ask Miriam and Tatwik to both ask their questions together, and then he can answer because you both have sort of similar questions. So, Tatwik? It's about... Okay. Okay, but can I ask Tatwik right now? Yeah.
Sure, okay. Hi, hello sir, I'm Tatwik. So recently I quit my job in LA and moved to Dallas, and right now I'm making like a short film every weekend. Uh, I had two questions. So if you were me, where would you be putting your energy mostly, like where your time and energy mostly? And when your first two films got banned, how was your outlook on the whole film industry and like how your life was going at the moment?
Oh, so quickly, the thing like, I made my first film and I waited for it to release. I was very young. I made Panch. And I remember when there were screenings that happened of Panch, and we had a very big producer, Boni Kapoor. And he said, "You're such a great filmmaker. And what do you want?" I said, "I want to make film. I want this to release." He said, "No. From Juhu to Bandra, you point at a penthouse, it's yours. Make a film for me with Sunil Shetty and Sanjay Kapoor." And I looked at him, and I was in my head, I was thinking, this is before Panch is released. What if Panch will release? They'll give me a bungalow, right? So I said no to that film. That film never released, the bungalow never came, the flat never came. Okay. And same happened after Black Friday. And I was like, after Black Friday, they will know that this is what I'm doing. And nothing happened. And I did not come out of my room for a long time. And I realized it's not about that. Life is not about that. So what you do is very good when you say that I make a short film every weekend. I never stop. If I kept waiting for Candidate to release, I would not have made 3 another films. So my thing is, Kennedy ban gaya. अब इसको release करना producer के हाथ में. I'll make more films. I made 3 more films. Now I have 4 films plus 5 films. And I'm going to go in and make another films. And if I have free time, I'll go and act. I'm not going to stop making films. And films will get me where they have to get me. I make a film like Almost Pyar, it gets me nothing. I make a film that I thought will get me nothing, gives me everything. So you never know. You cannot live on the imagined outcome. I'm saying you have to just do what you love doing. I'm saying this is exactly how everybody would have started, whether it's a restaurant business or it's any business or anything. When people find what they love doing, it either makes them a unicorn or it just makes them a corn on a cob. I don't know what you'll become. But the thing is, just do what you love doing.
Thank you very much for your time.
Hi, my name is Mariam. I'm coming from Houston to see you today, big fan. Also an actor. My question was regarding censorship as well. Your films have been banned and gotten so much criticism, Murta Punjab, Black Friday, pretty much all of your films. My question was, how do you deal with censorship, especially right now, whether it's India, whether it's America, there's so much censorship, you have to look at politicians.
Yeah, those are my consequences. Earlier I would find it very difficult to deal with it. I'll be very angry, I'll fight. I still do fight. But now I fight less and argue more with the censor board. But the thing is, I have no other choice. If I either I choose not to make films like that, or I make a film like today. I know I could not have made Gulal, Devdi, Wasepur, Ugly. None of would have been past the censor board. None of those films. But it's not like that I'm making a film that's deliberately, I'm not making propaganda films. I'm not making pro-government or anti-government film either. But I'm making films about what's happening around me. And there will be consequences, and consequences will, film might come out, film might not come out. Like say somebody, I make a film. I don't have a problem my film is adult or UA. But my producer would want a UA film. He will say, cut this out, you'll get a UA. I might not want to cut it out. That's my consequence. I'll have to fight him. So, and sometimes some things don't harm you. So you take it out. So the thing is, end of the day, my responsibility is make the film at the lowest cost possible, and somehow the investors get their money back. But if I don't spend a lot of time thinking about where OTT is heading, where cinema is heading, where censorship is heading, where anything is heading, because it's really the kind of procrastination that I want to avoid. It as it is pulls me down. The present pulls me down, so I don't want to have the future pull me down. So my way of fighting is I sometimes now become an ostrich and sometimes I do deal with it in my films. and I would rather talk about it through my films. And let's see what happens, because I also know that, like for example, some of the best films that you'll see being made in India are not seen in India. Like all the documentaries, which is on Criterion, which is nominated for the Oscar, it's not released in India. Santosh was not released in India. Sister Midnight is not released in India. They were at Cannes last year. There's so many of these films. Like Joyland, after clearing censor, was pulled out of India. So, if I compare myself to them, I'm so much better. And there's so many films. I'm telling you, last 4 days, yesterday, Instagram, I put up a story about Fule. But you know, it's just so heartbreaking that these films don't get out. The movie Punjab 95 was playing at TIFF with the biggest screening, and they pulled it out of the festival, all 4 prints. So, right now you don't know, and the whole world is going that way, so it's not only India. Sometimes I feel like India looks better compared to everybody else. So, no, it's not about this. The world is going in a certain direction, and I think the biggest responsible is social media. Yes, but I'm a filmmaker and I'll remain a filmmaker. My thing is like, I will take my consequences. It's like, it's not just about being a filmmaker. Anything you do in life, you simply would not want to do anything and just get married. But I'm saying, I'm just using as an example, right? That will have consequences. You decide not to get married. That will have consequences. They're your own consequences of your own choices. As long as my consequences come out of my choices, I'm okay with it. I'll deal with it. I'll find my way of dealing with it. But if my consequences are not because of my choices, because somebody is forcing them onto me, then I will fight it. That's how I like to live my life. There was a time I would just forget everything, play Tchaikovsky and drink whiskey. But now I have stopped doing that. I don't do that much. I try not to. It only happens when I travel long distance, like from there to here.
Okay, thank you. Suja?
Anurag, my name is Shuja. I'm from Karachi, Pakistan. Any film student in the 2010s was trying to make another Gangs of Wasseypur in Pakistan. My question to you is, I teach film and I make films in Austin. Where do you think is the center of filmmaking now in the coming years? With a lot of times in America, we saying it's the death of Hollywood. Hollywood is going down. Korean cinema is coming up. Where do you?
No, it's everywhere. Korean cinema is going down. Hollywood is going down. Bollywood is going down. Indian cinema is going down. Everything is going down. But the thing is like, it's because I believe when it goes down, the best time is yet to come. Right. I always believe that. We need to go down to find ourselves back. And I think today's the greatest advantage is wherever you are is the center of the world. You make your films from wherever you are. And especially you're living in Austin. Filmmakers from Texas have taught us that. You can make a film from anywhere. Filmmakers from across the world have taught us that. In the sense, the Kleber and Ansafilo, they all make films from their own city, own town, with their own people. Look at India. Rishabh Shetty making Kantara. He shoots in Kundapur. He doesn't go out of Kundapur. The whole city acts as his city, and everybody in the city, they are his junior artists. They are his extras. So really, today's day and age, you can make a film from anywhere. There's no center. And I think what film school should now teach students is how to market films, how to sell films.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Rajni? Is Rajni here?
Hello sir, yesterday only I came from Chandigarh. My question is very simple कि आपकी फिल्मों के जो किरदार होते हैं, मैंने देखा है स्टोरी से भी कहीं ज़्यादा वो पावरफुल नज़र आते हैं. तो इतनी इमेजिनेशन पावर आप कहाँ से लाते हो? थोड़ी हमें भी सिखा दो.
No, मेरा कोई imagination नहीं है.
But it looks like.
No, I don't have imagination. I'm influenced by powerful people. I am really... See, हम लोग जब बड़े हो रहे थे ना, कि जब फिल्में देखते थे, और हमारी फिल्मों के हीरो बड़े अच्छे होते थे, हीरोइनें बहुत अच्छी होती थी, गर्ल नेक्स्ट डोर कोई गलत काम नहीं करती थी, लड़के भी बड़े अच्छे होते थे, अच्छे बाप के बेटे होते थे, हाथ में गिटार लेके गाना बजाते थे, सफ़ेद जूते पहनते थे. वो मुझे कभी कैरेक्टर इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं करते. I like people who have flaws, who own their flaws. I like real people. I like stronger people. And my films are inhabited by people I look up to in life. So मेरे लिए वही है, जो न डरो तो मेरी फिल्म में कभी इंस्पायर नहीं करता. मेरा सबसे बड़ा इन्फ्लुएंस रही है मेरी नानी जी, जिन्होंने मुझे बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस किया है, जिनके ग्लिम्पसेस ऑफ नगमा खातून में देख सकती हैं, जिनके ग्लिम्पसेस मेरी अगली फिल्म में देख सकती हैं. The stronger women that you see in my films come from my Nani ji, one woman who ran the whole show. So she's not there anymore, but उनका इन्फ्लुएंस आपको दिखेगा. मेरे फादर के इन्फ्लुएंसेस आपको मेरी फिल्मों में दिखेंगे, और मेरे कुछ दोस्तों के इन्फ्लुएंसेस आपको मेरी फिल्मों में दिखेंगे. आपको लाइफ में कौन इन्फ्लुएंस करता है वो इस पे मैटर करता है.
It's really good. Thank you. Is Nirupam here? You asked already. So,
Hello sir, my name is Shonak. I'm originally from Hyderabad. So my question is, you answered my original question, but आपने subconscious के बारे में बात की, like when you're writing, most of the 90% is gone through, like you're living a conscious life, but 90% is subconscious. So actors like me, like who start late in the game, so how do we find that strength using that subconscious mind of yours, like Chandra? How do we find it without doing a lot of work?
I don't think you can find it. You can get there. The films that helped me getting there is a very strange thing, swimming. Because swimming and diving helps me a lot, because swimming and diving is it's a kind of a meditation for me, where you're breathing in and out. You don't listen to anyone, you watch nothing. You just swim and you're in water. So I swim very long hours. I like swim 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Swimming and diving help me a lot. Other thing that really helps you is breathing and isolation. So sometimes I do nothing. I just sit in one place in my library and stare at the roof. I do nothing, and I'll just staring at empty paper and pen, and I might be staring at them for 10 days in a row. The paper pen will be lying there. My team knows not to disturb my paper and pen. And one day I'll just sit and start writing. You get there, it arrives at you. You look for it, you'll never find it. You have to allow yourself to be. If you allow it, everything will come to you.
okay, I think we'll take one last question, and then we will have Anurag outside for photographs. We do want you all to be able to take pictures with him before we whisk him away to the airport.
And before that happens, I just want to say, whatever I say is not the absolute truth. This is my truth.
Hi sir, my name is Isha Gulati. मैं पिछले 8 साल से मुंबई में काम कर रही हूँ as an actor and now filmmaker. I have had you on my vision board in Mumbai for the past 7-8 years, and it's so funny that now I've moved back after my father passed away to work here, and I'm getting a chance to meet you in Texas, so it's really awesome. I know you said an actor should never do PR, but the industry is so competitive and you're always just looking for a chance to get any work at some point. So how do you find that balance for doing your business as an actor to find work, but also working on your craft?
See, I don't know. Industry will always advise you to do PR, because it benefits them. I'm saying PR will not benefit you. PR will benefit you only after you have made an impression on people. Beginning of your career, PR will not benefit you. I'm saying you look at star kids. Our greatest example is my friend, she made a film called Archies. the recent that film come out, my daughter's best friends are actors. Most of their careers have been destroyed because of PR. Like the expectation was this much, and film was here, and because expectations were here, the film felt here. It doesn't help. Look at Lapta ladies, no PR. Look at how their acting careers have changed. Look at film like 12th Fail, no PR. Look how the careers of those actors have changed. You did not know Medha, you did not know Pratibha Ranta, you did not know any of them before the film came out. I'll say look at Vineet Kumar Singh. Vineet Kumar Singh and me used to have this conversation because he's worked with me in Mukkabaz and all that. He would be ranting that, they have not, the promotion of Chava, I'm not there, this, that, everything. And I would say, Vineet is good for you. You'll be surprised in the film. When the film will come out, people will be blown by your performance. And you will come out very strongly in the film. The problem is you have 2 more films coming out after that. They'll take advantage and they'll start putting you in promotions. And he had Superboys of Malegaon, and now he has Jat. And he's the best thing in Jat as an actor. Not that I'll make that film. But I'm saying, look at how it has changed. He called me to say thank you. He said, I'm not doing any more PR ever again. Because it happens, when it happens to actors. Adarsh Gurav, what was the PR on Adarsh Gurav when he did White Tiger? And compare that to all the actors who had PR. And you'll see the difference of what I'm talking about. The more people are surprised by you, the more they don't know you, they will remember you.
Thank you so much. And also, how do we get cast in your film?
I have Saloni. My casting director is Saloni. Just stay in touch with her. I'm not casting anymore for some time.
Okay, great. Well, we want to give you a round of applause for being so generous. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we're going to do it this way. I think Meghna is going to help everybody who wants to picture to just stand behind her, and then we can do this one by one. And we have a photographer in the house who can take pictures, or you can take your selfies, however you like. We have to really rush through. So please, may I request you to not chitter-chatter now. Just take your pictures so that everybody gets a chance. Thank you. Behind Meghna. And as soon as you've taken your picture, just exit from the other end, and there's some drinks for you outside. Thank you. Picture this way. After you take your pictures, please exit.